It's okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stanley Smith from Connecting Consciousness, Illinois, and we're so pleased to have Alice Stacionis here with us today. And Stacy's going to be joining us next Saturday at our statewide call on Saturday at 9 a.m. in the morning. So you're all invited to come back. I just want to give a sneak preview of some of the things Alice is going to be talking about. She has this really terrific slide presentation. But Alice, real quick, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're from Rockford. I know you're very active.
I'm from
And all things
Rockford.
astrology. That's what our topic is, obviously astrology. And a quick little introduction for yourself.
I was an HR person for 20 years before I retired. So I got to know people. And I really appreciate that part of my career. And then now, as I'm in my retirement, I like to help people move towards their the area they're supposed to grow in. That's my objective.
Terrific. Well, I enjoyed the sneak preview you gave me earlier of the presentation, and I was especially intrigued with moving out of our comfort zone into where we need to be so we can learn and move ahead. And this is an old slide you had in your collection about connecting consciousness before
Yes.
we had connecting consciousness. That was it's been a common theme out there for quite some time. That's excellent.
Love it.
And this is your kind of introduction to your presentation about understanding the times we're in. So we need to understand where we are so we can understand what's going on and how it affects us. That's terrific. And are you quoting or citing astronaut Edgar Mitchell?
Yes, he said he had his aha moment coming back from space, looking down at our Earth and thinking, how can we think we know anything?
That's always a good thing to be aware of. And this is an introduction to the time or the cycles
Yes.
you're going to be talking about. And it's showing the astrological cycles of the decadent and the positive energy in the different cycles.
And this, I'll use this a couple times because I'll refer to certain parts a couple times.
Okay, terrific. This one I especially like, this proton belt. I don't know what it is, but I just love saying proton belt.
Positive energy for 2,000 years, the length of time of the Aquarian age.
Okay, and then this is of the sun, and you're saying that we literally are moving into the light because the sun is going to be brighter in our daily experience.
We are this close to the sun every 26,000 years. It's almost God's way of saying, okay, guys, time to go into the light.
And this next slide is about a timeline. And I was kind of intrigued by this because it moves from like the swampy muck of creation through the dinosaurs. And we're up here at the very end with the Egyptians and the Romans and current civilization. It's all tumbling off. So I was kind of concerned about everything tumbling off into the abyss. But you said not to be alarmed because this is simply the end of our current timeline and not necessarily the end of the world or the astrological cycles. Is that right?
No, correct. It's about going into the fifth dimension, and that's another whole subject.
Okay. And then this was about is this the
Anunnakis
history?
Now, I'm not sure about the 200,000 years, but since this came up in a slide or in a place that I saw, I thought we need to see a number. And so I use that number.
And this is more about the cycles, the various cycles. And this is a picture actually of a crop circle, you said?
Yes, in 2009, and we are going through Metamorphis. We are growing.
And this is more about the decadent end of the Aryan cycle going into the Piscean cycle. We're in the Piscean cycle, so we're moving from the end of the Piscean cycle into the Aquarian cycle. Is that correct?
And how they're very similar. The times
and you're going to
similar.
explain to us the decadent end of each cycle.
Yes,
how that causes disturbance and disruption that some of us are experiencing now.
Yes.
These were some fun examples, Alice, you had of previous periods in history and transitions and how ironically similar they are to today. And these are some quotes from some famous thinkers of those times who had some of the same experiences and thoughts that we're having today. That's very interesting, Alice. This was especially
decadent end of cycles.
This was some talking points of the root causes of the fall of the Roman Empire, which I guess almost seems cliche that we can see parallel to our current time, but seems to be the case. couple more quotes from famous thinkers. And this was kind of an amusing little ditty almost about the progression, downward spiral of bad scenarios leading to a bad outcome. Now, this is a kind of a turning point in your presentation because you're talking about where we are now in the cycle and in the timeline.
Yes.
Then we get into this really terrific section about retrogrades and what they mean and how they're working for all of us, for the good people and the bad people, wherever you are on the spectrum. And this is a list of all the different planets and what they mean. Is that correct?
Yes.
In the retrograde cycles?
And them being retrograde and what that means. Yes.
And these are some charts you got from somebody in Sweden.
Yes. An astrologer.
Astrologer.
And it shows where the retrograde planets are all on the left side. And also, people go through paying karmic debt, especially when the retrogrades are involved. And the bad guys now are being found out because we are going into the light. And the good planets, or the planets not retrograde, now Mercury was a short time, but the sun, our spirit, Mars, our energy, Moon, obviously, our emotions, are all on this other right side. And so we have a lot of energy that's working with us there.
And Alice, that noise in the background does not mean that you're in retrograde. It just means you have a pet bird. Is that correct?
I have a cockatoo, and he gets noisy. So these are just a couple more.
Everybody's welcome.
Even my cockatoo?
Even your cockatoo.
And the full moon in Aries. This is our emotions are fired up to have things come down. And this is good because this is one of the good things. And 2 weeks before that was the Libra new moon. And that was interesting because the people who had to be balanced to bring down the bad guys were.
Excellent.
Once again, basically showing the same thing.
Oh, and okay, this is a fun one about the moon nodes. I've never heard of moon nodes. I mean, I didn't know, like, are there symptoms that tell me I have them, or do I need to have my moon nodes checked?
And every now and then they scratch too, so you have to itch them. Yes, we hear about the moon nodes. Many people hear about them, but they really don't know what they are. Okay, the moon and the sun, when their orbits cross, the one that's going up, the moon node going up, is a positive and where we're supposed to be growing in this lifetime, because we're here to grow. That's it. The one going down is a south node, and that's where you've learned in the past lifetime, and you need to, life is about growth, and you have to grow towards your north moon node.
And Alice, in the next slide, I think it talks about one of the things it mentions in the list is our comfort zone. And you're saying that one of these spots where it crosses is when we experience our comfort zone. So I think a lot of us feel, and the messaging we get in the world is that, that's the goal, is to get to your comfort zone. But you're saying that's actually not necessarily a good thing, because we're not going to get anywhere in our comfort zone.
No, because that's where you grew in the last lifetime. Yeah. And if you look at the bottom of this dragon, see how I think it's a bear, is right side up. You grew. That's your comfort. You grew in that lifetime. Now in this lifetime, the animal is upside down. And so as you grow towards your north node, that animal turns upright.
Well, this is Monday morning, so my animal is definitely upside down this morning, Alice. So thank you for bearing with me. Then balance, rise the vibration.
Yep.
And you're saying this is kind of the idea of this symbol, is the idea of the positive, the light, and the negative or dark side. And it's even that is in balance.
Yeah. Everything has to be in balance.
And this was a fun little quote about the universe doesn't punish or bless you, simply responds to the vibration. So that's really interesting ideas. And here we're back to the cycle and the timeline.
Yep.
And you're going to tell us about how a lot of this seems like a chess game to us.
Yes, yes.
And you're going to encourage us again, over and over again, to be positive, because we're moving into the light.
Yes.
We want to have a positive message, Alice. The old world is ending and a new earth is forming. And then old energy is fading away and new energy is coming our way. Alice, that's a pretty good message. I think when I asked you last week, like, what is the message of all this? And you said from an astrological perspective and from your perspective, the message is not to be afraid. And I thought that's a pretty good message, Alice.
Yeah. They want us fearful. They want us emotionally distraught. And if I can help people doing their charts and help them not be that way, and even doing these presentations, if people understand, then they're a little more calm about everything.
Well, Alice, I know that a lot of people have a big interest in trying to figure out what the crap is going on. And I think from an astrological perspective, you've got some great insight, and I look forward to talking to you more. And I know our members have many, many questions for you from around the state. So we'll look forward to seeing you Saturday morning, October 30th at 9 a.m. in the morning. I'll put the link to the invite in the description of this video. Thank you so much, Alice. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Stanley.